Thank you for coming to our 2025 Business Recovery Resource Forum. I'm Mavis Thompson, and I have the distinct honor of serving as your license collector for the city of St. Louis. I actually collect all licenses. All businesses must be licensed that operate in the city of St. Louis. Just like when you're driving a car, you need to have a license. When you own a business and operate a business here in the city of St. Louis, you need a license. And so I collect those. Before I go any further with logistics and the agenda, I want to take a moment of silence. Our own Congressman William Bill Clay passed this morning, and so we'll have a moment of silence. Amen. All right, and so before we get on with the introductions, let's talk about the logistics. Outside, you'll see refreshments, also coffee and water are right here in the vestibule, as well as snacks and fruit, again, where you came in to register, okay? And so you have that. Now, parking, everybody went to the right place to park? Okay. All right. And so parking, Alnita is standing there, the best executive administrator that anybody on this earth can have is Alnita, and she's standing there, and so she'll assist where you need to go to get for parking, okay? All righty. And restrooms, we have all gender restrooms, let's see, out here to the right. Is that correct? All right. And then we have some locked bathrooms if you need those, but you would just ask our staff for those. But all gender just right down the hall here. Okay, did I think I covered everything? All righty. And so we're going to start off with our presenters and our co-hosts. And we have some heavy hitters. They're all citywide elected officials. And we'll start off first with the Honorable Gregory FX Daly, our Collector of Revenue.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Greg Daly. I'm the Collector of Revenue for the City of St. Louis. For some of you folks, yeah, I'm the guy. I'm the guy you write the checks to. I'm the guy who's in your mailbox all the time, asking you to send either your personal property, your real estate taxes, your earnings tax, your water bill, or your trash bill. So yeah, I'm the guy, and on behalf of the City of St. Louis, we very much appreciate that. Very much appreciate that. As I indicated, and let me just take this a point of personal privilege, I would like to thank Mavis Thompson for putting this together and actually being able to be part of this. And I know I speak for some of my peers, my elected officials. This is something that works very well for the community, as well as our elected offices, for everybody to become a little bit more familiar with city services. So let's give Mavis Thompson a round of applause. Also, on a point of personal privilege, I have had the honor of having some young men and women serve as interns in the Collector of Revenue's office, and I'd like for them to stand up and say hello to the group. Stand up, guys. So again, please. So again, thank you very much for being here. The Collector of Revenue, We're located on the first floor of City Hall, room 109. We're also on the fourth floor, and we're also in the basement. Have approximately 100 employees that serve the city of St. Louis in all capacities. Earnings tax, that 1% tax, personal property, and real estate that are both due on December the 31st. Your water bill and your trash bill that are done on a quarterly basis. So we're working all the time, and I think the most important thing I can say at this particular meeting this morning is we're here for you. One of the biggest things we can possibly do as civil servants is customer service. And I know that some of you have been faced with some very difficult situations, most recently with the tornado. The most important thing I can leave you with today is let us know what your circumstances are. That is the most important thing, that we know what you are facing. If we know what you are facing, we can deal with it. We can come up with possibly a solution to the problem, or we can work on payment plans. We can do most anything that is necessary to get you through a crisis. But we need to know. If you don't let us know, there is a process that's in place, and it's not pretty. It's not pretty. I represent the tax collection agency for the city of St. Louis, and that's what we do. But I also want you to know that we are there for you as long as we know what you are being faced with. If we know, we can sit with you. I have an excellent staff that is more than adept to sit with you, understand what your issues are, and work from within. So please keep that in mind this morning. That's the most important thing I can share with you, is that we're there for you and we want to be part of whatever you are faced with. We have a table outside that can go into detail as to maybe some of the issues that you may be facing. Again, real estate, personal property, earnings tax, water and trash. So these are things that if any of these things ring a bell with you, we've got a table outside. We've got folks that are very well versed in all of those particular issues, and we're more than happy to answer any questions for you. So I will again thank Mavis Thompson for the opportunity to be here, and please let me just leave this with you again. Let us know whatever your issues are, and we'll be more than happy to address them. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I always like to call Greg's name. Isn't that a catchy name? Gregory FX Daly. All righty. And so next we have our Recorder of Deeds, none other than the Honorable Michael Butler.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. I'm Michael Butler. I serve as your Recorder of Deeds for the city of St. Louis, and I want to let you all know that we feel you. Like the previous elected official, Gregory FX Daly, I previously owned a business in the city, and we know how difficult it is to run a business in the city, and we understand that with this disaster, it's made it a little more difficult. So we are here for you. We feel you, and in this time, we're here to make things a little easier. My office handles all of the land deeds, birth records, death records, and all the marriage licenses in the city. So you can come to our office downstairs in room 129 to request a land deed if you like. If you need something to prove, some proof for some of the resources that are behind me, as well as in the hallway. We're here to assist you in making sure it's easy, with compassion, that you receive the records you need for the proof that you need for the assistance that you need. We have given away over 1,000 free land deeds and birth records over the past 45 days in our office. We've waived fees for each and every one of you. We've also made it more compassionate to where if you're missing a document that you need for your birth record, we found other ways we can prove that you are who you say you are, and we can make things easy for you. We understand that you're going through a tough time. We understand you may be losing money at this time, and we don't want to make that any more difficult for you in the Recorder of Deeds office. And for that, once again, we're here to show compassion to each and every one of you and make sure that we're getting you the information that you need. I'm Michael Butler, Recorder of Deeds, and looking forward to working with you today. See.
And I know that the mayor is also having a resource forum today for mainly homeowners, and maybe some of the other elected officials are there. But I think that Ryan is here from the comptroller's office, and so Donna Behringer's office, and so he will speak on behalf of the comptroller. Thank you, Ryan.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here. As she noted, the comptroller's office is, the comptroller is on her way. I'm stepping in for just a moment. She's going to be here a little after 10, I believe, something come up. But I just want to echo some of the comments from earlier that the comptroller's office is here to assist however possible. We've been working sort of nearly around the clock, getting residential tornado withholding check claims out. I just delivered one this morning to a gentleman. We're seeing some light at the end of the tunnel of getting all of those out. Not many businesses had those that came to our office, but like I said, we're here to assist however we can. So thank you. Yeah. Ms. Thompson asked me to talk about the executive order that was passed, and that's what I alluded to in the tornado claim check talk, is that an executive order was issued a month after the storm that instructed insurance companies that they no longer had to send us the 25%. Unfortunately, by that time, most of them were already out. Folks had already submitted their claims and they were already out. Now, another thing that executive order did do, though, was enable the building commissioner, Mr. Ed Ware, who's here, to waive that 25% withholding. And I know he activated some extra staff of his that don't normally work on this to unclog the bottlenecks that occurred both in the comptroller's office and in the building commissioner's office. That's a program that usually only sees 1 to 2 fire checks a week. And so it's pretty easy to handle. And in our office, it was pretty much a one-person operation, someone that had other duties every day. And so all of a sudden we had hundreds of checks to account for. Some of the insurance companies, some of them didn't get the memo quite in time, and some of the checks went to incorrect departments. So we had to chase checks down to a number of departments, but we've done it. I think we're sitting on a couple dozen checks waiting to pick up, and I think there are less than a dozen that still need to get through the hopper. But everyone that's been calling us has a check now, and so the only ones that are remaining are ones that no one has contacted us, and we had very limited information from the insurance company. So, thank you.
I want to apologize. I just want you to know that if you have any questions for the speakers, you don't have to wait until the end. I hate that when people say, oh, well, wait until the end, we'll answer your question. Well, I might forget by the end. So anyway, does anybody right now have any questions for Collector of Revenue, Greg F.X. Daly, Michael Butler, Recorder of Deeds, Donna Behringer's office by Ryan? Any questions for those offices right now? All right, and so we'll move on along. And so, Adam Lane, come on up. He is our treasurer for the city of St. Louis. Adam Lane.
All right, good morning, everyone. So my name is Adam Lane. I get the honor of serving as a treasurer for the city of St. Louis. I do want to, again, thank, I lovingly call her Auntie Mavis, no relation, but no one will know. But I lovingly call her that. But I want to thank you for having this. And I do want to say, just like the folks who came before me, that we understand how hard this is, especially from the outside. One of the things that I really commend my team on, who are here as well, is day one, we came back on, well, actually it was business day too, but came back on Monday. I gathered up my whole team and said, we are a public office and we understand what public service is, and we have to get out and do whatever we can. So we armed ourselves with chainsaws, gloves, masks, anything that we could do, and we just got out to help clear debris. Talk to people and support in any way that we can. And, you know, if you see it on the news, you all know it, so I know I'm preaching to the choir, but seeing it on the news and driving through the streets or walking down the streets, very different experience. And I know that even though May is 2+ months away, it still seems like it's yesterday, so we understand that. I want to tell you a little bit about what my office does and how we can support. But before I do that, I would say one of the biggest things that any of our city offices can do, and I'm glad that it has been happening, is collaborate. So I want to commend Collector Daly in collaborating a long time ago with the Board of Aldermen and the Comptroller's Office on the RETAF program. That was something that was amazing to provide relief to St. Louis City residents. I know that Mr. Butler and I are collaborating on another effort to be announced soon that's going to be supporting more people around how they can move around and get access to all city services and services that are not just put on by the city. So I think collaboration in time is one of the biggest things that we can provide to you as business owners, as residents, and as the city of St. Louis. So what my office does, as a treasurer's office, I'm responsible for the cash management of the city. So we manage all of the city bank accounts, make sure that we're doing reconciliations and departments are spending their money in the right ways and that they have the money in the bank account to be able to do that. I wouldn't say single-handedly, I have a treasury department, but my office is solely responsible for managing our investment account. So the $30 million of RAMPS interest that was appropriated to be able to be doled out by the administration, that $30 million in interest is something that was grown through our office. So we're happy to be able to provide that service so that that money could be lent out for the good that it's going to do. We also have one of the things I'm really proud of, our Office of Financial Empowerment. So while we don't have, and we're working with our banks, but while we don't have a fund set up specifically yet for tornado relief or other programs that would assist in that way, we do work with 16 different bank partners. And in addition to calling my team to the table, called all those banks to the table to say, what can we do? So we got a lot of information from them and resources. So, and I can answer questions later and I'll stick around. And also my office is 220, so down the hall and to the left. We try to keep an open door policy, so please reach out. But there are banks that maybe you already bank with or maybe need to bank with that are forgiving loans. There are banks that are waiving some of those late fees because they understand the undue financial hardship that you're facing right now. So your banks are willing to work with you. So one of the things we can talk about is how you leverage your banking relationship right now to be able to serve you. I see Mr. Monroe in the front with the question. I'll take it. You want me to wait? Oh, okay, all right. We're gonna get you a mic, Mr. Monroe. You sure?
Mr. Monroe?
Oh, go ahead.
Yes, you do, sir. You're on TV, sir. A legend right here, you're a legend.
This is simple. How much interest has accrued? That's all. Just one question from that RAM settlement. That's all. Thank you, sir.
So 30 million. So all the interest that had accrued on that was moved over. So all of it, $30 million. Yep, a good question. So the question was how much money has accrued on the RAMS interest account. So before the Board of Aldermen moved to allocate it to tornado relief, so all of it, all 30 million. Yep. So with the Office of Financial Empowerment, I know that, of course, you might be a business owner, but you also have employees, and those employees might have been affected by the tornado as well. And maybe they did get a check from their insurance company, maybe they didn't, but we'd love to work with your employees and you one-on-one to help to make sure that they're in the most advantageous financial position coming out of this tornado. So if they got a check and don't know what to do with it or want to make sure that they can use it in the best ways, we will work with them and support them in that way. If they don't know how to get that check, they need help applying for funding, they need other assistance programs, financial assistance programs as individuals. We want them to be financially healthy as well so that they can be the best employees that you have. So we know you want to take care of your business. We also know you want to take care of your people, and we can help do that. So again, I'm Adam Lane. I'm your city treasurer. Thank you for being here, and thank you, Ms. Thompson, for hosting this.
All right. Now we'll have our comptroller for the city of St. Louis, Donna Behringer.
Thank you very much, and thank you for doing this. I want to let everybody know that while you may not directly have any impact on what you're going through, we are the office that's behind the scenes to make sure that we get what's needed done. And I'll give you some examples. The comptroller's office, all contracts have to come through the comptroller's office. So if you want to get a contract with the city of St. Louis to say move tree debris, clear the streets during a tornado, I had to be available 24/7, and I was. And we put it on the computer so I could go from my phone. So when the tornado hit, I immediately went down to the Del Mar and South Kings Highway, which took me almost 2 hours because of all the downed trees. We had to immediately start looking at the services that were needed, how we were going to do it, and make sure that everything was done exactly so that the city did it correctly. An example would be the Chaffetz Center. They donated that for everyone to come there, but we couldn't do that until the city of St. Louis had a contract, making sure we had insurance, making sure that everything that is the way it's supposed to be is done. So when that happened, it wouldn't have mattered what time of day it was. It wouldn't matter what day it was. I would have immediately called my people, and we would have gotten together to review the contracts. And I know Ryan Coleman, who spoke for me earlier, let you all know that there was this ordinance in the city of St. Louis that really had to do with fires. And that was one of the biggest things that we had to get through. We were working 7 days straight. We'd be here sometimes till 7 o'clock at night, making sure that anyone who was impacted by the 25% rule got their checks and got them quickly. And I'm very proud of all the work that everyone did to make that happen, because once again, in government, you have to touch many different departments, and all the departments we called to say, this is important, let's get this going, worked with us. So I can't thank them enough. So that's kind of it. We are in the background. So the comptroller is involved in almost everything, but we're not involved in most of what front end. So I just want to let you all know that I am so sorry about what happened. It was very devastating. But I did say, and I'll say it again, is that in an emergency, being in the city of St. Louis when it first happens, because I've had that when we lost all of our electricity, it is your neighbors that come out to help. And when this first happened, and I was trying to get to the command center, I could not stop looking at all the helpers and everyone who was hugging and trying to help and trying to get through. Because that first 24 hours, and I still get goosebumps today, that first 24 hours was emotionally tough. But wow, the people of the city of St. Louis really stepped up. So I want to thank you all for that. And that's it. Thank you.
Any questions for Madam Comptroller? All right. And so the next person that we have coming up is Julian Nix, and he is the Chief Recovery Officer for Mayor Spencer's office. Julian?
First of all, thank you for the warm invitation and allowing us to speak at this event. I want to apologize that Mayor Spencer can't be here. She's currently in a meeting with the Police Board of Commissioners for their meeting, so she wanted to apologize that she couldn't be here. So as you all know, it's been a massive kind of effort from a broader response. You've heard from a number of the various groups who've played a huge role in both the response effort, which is what we look at really as the last 2 months, but also will play critical roles as we look at the longer term, which is really the restoration and rebuild phase. Just to give a quick recap on kind of where we are kind of as within this broader aspect, is the first 2 months of the response was really focused on, at least from a mayor's office perspective, very much so on public safety, ensuring that the people in the impact region were safe, and the immediate stabilization of people and families, which is more around sheltering, meals, and all of that broader infrastructure support to create a condition for families to, at best, stabilize from this overall disaster. As we look and kind of move forward, another major objective that we had was getting resources here into the city to help support both the short-term efforts and the long-term restore and rebuild. That looked like getting the Rams settlement interest passed alongside the Board of Aldermen for the $30 million. It looked like getting about the $25 million with the state through MHDC that would help drive investment in housing, and the $100 million from the state we're still working through the exact details of how all of that will be deployed. For context, we know the damage is way more extensive than the number of dollars that we have and the number of dollars I just mentioned. The damage is estimated between $1 to $2 billion. That's not including the economic impact and havoc that it's had on families, and therefore it's going to have on the broader kind of region. And so one of the things, so we recognize that, and so one of our goals is recognizing that we're in this for the long haul, that this recovery effort, when we look at disasters across the country that have happened in the past, recovery efforts, as much as we want them to happen overnight, take a long time for communities to recover. So we're talking about a long-term decade by which communities impacted by things like Hurricane Katrina and other disasters have taken to kind of fully recover. But there is a lot that we can do in the short term, and one of the immediate focuses is making sure that we have an office that is dedicated to this. We know that we have about 50,000 residents that are within the impact zone. Recognize that the city is 280,000, so we recognize there's 230,000 people that are not impacted in the day-to-day aspects of tornado. We are critical on making sure that we can both continue to serve the constituent needs of everyone outside of the tornado zone while dedicating focus to a recovery office. And so on Thursday, Mayor Spencer announced, she announced the establishment of a recovery office. And so my role will be leading as Chief Recovery and Neighborhood Transformation Officer, which is both thinking about the immediate recovery in the response zone, but also how we can use this horrible incident as a way to really innovate within the city and bring cross-functional groups together to drive a coordinated response. So that's kind of where we are. We also announced about $19.2 million additional, about $18 million of which is Rams settlement funds that are going to a wide variety of things. Our immediate focus in those funds that I'll acknowledge was more focused on individuals and families. So that is where we have started the major focus, recognizing that we need to be thinking also more broadly about the broader efforts of recovery for our nonprofits and our broader business community. And so where we are and kind of where we're moving forward is we are in the process of establishing the recovery office, making sure we're building the budget and the staffing to be able to have that office properly kind of serve the needs long-term of the community, with 5 likely multiple different focus areas, which will include both resident well-being, so continue to focus on the individual services that we've had in the past, thinking about what debris removal and infrastructure renewal will need to happen. We recognize that a lot of trees fell and disrupted sidewalks in neighborhoods, sidewalks in front of businesses that no longer make them ADA compliant or accessible for many people, on top of the buildings and the rubble that is still in communities. So that is a big kind of focus effort. We recognize there's a long need for housing and housing restoration and building, as well as we need to accelerate planning and development processes. And so I'm happy to see Ed Ware here from the building division talking about how we streamline permitting and broader administrative hurdles to development. And then we also have a focus on one of the areas there'll be a big focus to is the business and nonprofit recovery. So right now we're still designing that and building the cross-functional for that work. In the long term, we do recognize that one of our core partners with SBA is here. We established a business recovery center at Cass Avenue alongside SLDC, and I know they've been there giving out loans. A large portion of that has gone to individuals in the recovery effort, but of course there are a lot of resources there for low interest rate loans with businesses. We recognize that's not enough, and so we are working with SLDC. So I see Steve Davis here from our SLDC team, also led by Otis Williams, where we're collaborating, thinking about the longer term needs for businesses. And so that'll be something that will become a very near term focus as we look at the effort moving forward. So that's the most major comments I wanted to be able to share, but happy to take any questions.
Question? Good morning. My question is, you talked about millions of dollars. I didn't add it all up. Are any of those funds accessible to the community? And if so, how can they access them? Or are those funds primarily for like cleanup, structure, stabilization, or can the community access the funds? Basically what I'm saying.
Yeah, so there are different aspects of kind of different programs that we have set up. So some of them is, so there's programs we've already set up and funded, which has largely been the emergency stabilization program. And then we just announced about $5 million going directly toward home repair programs for underinsured owners that will be kind of running through a variety of programs that we'll be rolling out. Those are coming online. They are extensions of existing programs that we recognize have had way more demand than the resources that are there. So they're going into existing kind of programs that are there. A lot of the resources actually also go out to our resource hubs. So we've had resource hubs in each of the zones that are providing supplies and meals in the area. A lot of where the city is doing may feel for a lot of people visible, and that's because the city doesn't do the work. We use the resources to empower community and groups on the ground already driving a lot of it. So if you think of organizations like Legal Services of Eastern Missouri that's providing legal services for people, if you look at some of the sites, such as the DRC sites and things that got set up that are accessing FEMA aid, we've partnered directly to create where those sites and things are located. And so the answer is a lot of the different money are going to services that touch people, but may not directly touch individuals. But the two that are is our home repair program and our emergency program that's available more immediately. And there'll be more tied to case management as well as broader unmet needs assistance support that'll be getting set up over the course of the next couple of months. Thank you.
Yes, good morning. I have a business located in this storm, the recovery area where the storm took place. I have a 4-storefront commercial property. I hear you speaking about housing. I don't hear you say anything about businesses receiving any income.
Yeah, so I think I said before, and so where's your business located?
Martin Luther King and Union.
Okay, Martin Luther King and Union.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, we recognize that there's a lot of businesses that were kind of devastated. Right now, the primary resources for businesses is through the Small Business Administration and the Recovery Center that we kind of help set up. We recognize that there is a lot more than maybe what those services can provide. And so right now that is the primary resources for businesses is the Business Recovery Center to offer those sets of resources. And as we start to identify what the needs are, we'll announce more in the future, but there have not been additional programs specifically focused on.
Okay, well, if I've spoke to some people in your centers that were located in the area, they only offer loans. They did not offer any grants. I've already have a loan with you guys, with the SBA currently. And Is there any grant programs put together?
There are not any grant programs at the moment, but we'll be reviewing kind of longer term opportunities there. Thank you. And I say that to say I know I have family who directly have businesses, especially on the Del Mar and Union corridor. So I understand the heavy impact. To be transparent, we recognize we have not provided enough direct support for businesses. The reality is, like I mentioned, the need is so great that we've had to trade off the extremely important with the other extremely or very important. And there's a lot of people who need support that we haven't yet gotten programs. So we acknowledge that.
Good morning. My name is Chris Draper. I am the owner of Crown Contractors and Construction. I'm a general contractor here that's vetted by the city to help residents and commercial owners in repairs for whatever they have in need of. And my question is, maybe either you or another alderman can help me determine what is the process in order to access these funds for the residents and for the commercial building owners. Because I'm meeting a lot of them that may have gotten the first check from FEMA. Unfortunately, of course, we know that it's not enough. So we know that the process is usually, we have to submit additional information and estimates in order to get some more funding. But the residents don't know that. So I need to know either from you or from another panelist, what does that process look like? Is there a phone number? Is there an email that I can send them to so they can, start the process and actually get me to do the work for them?
Yeah. Well, thank you. One, we acknowledge there's a lot of programs and therefore they're difficult kind of to navigate. But just to make sure, are you talking about individual FEMA people applying for individual assistance? Or are you talking about businesses applying for SBA loans? Sorry, mostly for FEMA.
Mostly for FEMA, yes.
Okay. Well, I won't speak fully for FEMA, but just to kind of give an aspect, there's two aspects of FEMA's program. There's the FEMA Individual Assistance Program, which is focused on helping individuals impacted, whether residents or, whether rental or owner occupied. Okay. So our general conversation is that one, the disaster recovery centers are the best places for those individuals to go to understand where they are. We have told people, if you have questions, if you have not heard back from FEMA within a couple of days, to revisit a disaster recovery center. We recognize that we can't, in our social media from the city, emphasize that message enough, so we rely on a lot of our nonprofit partners and people to tell people to go revisit. But if they're doing an individual assistance application, they should go back to the disaster recovery center with their I can't remember their ID number tied to their federal. Yes, they should bring that back to the room and they can look up their case and give them updates to specific.
So you're saying the FEMA money is separate from the funds that are available from the RAMS money?
Yes, the FEMA is directly FEMA-oriented programs that come out of federal allocated dollars toward disaster assistance.
Well, how do we access the money that you all have from the RAMS fund to assist them in any kind of repairs?
Yeah, so there's kind of two broader programs: stabilization program, as well as the home repair program. Right now, there are a few different programs that are there, and I don't have the information right in front of me, but there's one that we run funds through, that's through Mission St. Louis, where people can access. So all this should be on stlrecovers.com, where people can directly register for home needs and home repair assistance, and they will go into what we know is a very long list of people that we're working through to understand demand. So that's how you get into the queue kind of for those broader sets of programs. If you're speaking specifically from a contractor perspective,
yes,
there is our contractor registration program, which is where we have created to have contractors actually register. That was actually led by the building division with Ed Ware and his team, directly in coordination with our office, where organizations can register to show that they are registered approved businesses with a business license, with the right trade certifications and with the insurance policy to serve.
I'm
Then
registered.
there is the general contractors who are managing both the emergency stabilization program and these other home repair programs that work directly with the contractors. But it'll be working directly with the groups overseeing those programs is how contractors get plugged in.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions? All right.
Hold on, man.
My name is Julian Nix. Julian Nix, N-I-C-K-S. Perfect. Well, what I'll say is thank you all. I know the mayor says this all the time, but the massive nature of the disaster, we know it can both be true that the city is doing as much as we can, but also hold the truth that we are also never doing enough. That is not lost upon her. That is not lost upon our office. And we are working as hard as possible. So we ask, please keep paying attention to our stlrecovers.com. We'll continue to update that with resources as they roll out. Follow the city government on our Instagram or also on kind of any of our other broader forms. Yeah, that's how we get day-to-day updates out. And literally, we roll out programs and new things every single week.
We would prefer for you to raise your hand so we can bring you the mic. I know people don't think that they need a mic. I always say, I don't need a mic. I'll use my courtroom voice. But you need a mic because it's being televised, okay? Thank you. And so next we'll have Ed Ware, who is our Building Division Commissioner. And then after Ed, he'll introduce Dylan. And after Dylan, we'll have Steve Davis from SLDC, St. Louis Development Corporation. In that order, please.
Thank you. Good morning. So I think you've realized now that it takes a lot of different agencies to go through this recovery. The building division, their part in working with all the other agencies. In the very beginning, we worked with SEMA, and we evaluated over 7,000 buildings that were affected by the tornado. The majority of those were residential, but a lot were business. The building division, along with the administration, made a decision early on that legally we should have went through a lot of condemnation processes, revocation processes of building occupancies, business occupancies. We did not do any of that. So any pre-existing business that was in prior to the tornado still has a legitimate occupancy permit. We've not revoked anything. We've not sent out any condemnations. We've not done anything like that. The only condemnations that we've done, thank you, the administration made that decision, and we supported it. The only condemnations we've done is those that have been requested by building owners to help them deal with the insurance companies. So those are the condemnations we've done. But we were not going to go out and start penalizing people after such a tragic event happened up there. So any of people in here that has a business and was up and running prior to the tornado, your occupancy is still good. Everything's still fine. Now let's talk about repairs. If you have repairs that have to be done by permit, we have waived not the requirement for permit, but we have waived all the permit fees. Okay? When your contractor, you come in for a permit, you will not have to pay any permit fees whatsoever. We're trying to do that to help encourage the repairs out there. This gentleman's a contractor, and I hope you have taken advantage of getting yourself on the contractor registry. Excellent, because those are the people that we're trying to line up with these folks out there, so I'm sure you're going to be seeing a lot of business. Yeah. So we've tried to expedite everything in the building division. We've tried to shorten all the wait time. We've brought in some volunteer architects who are up there advising people on next steps and trying to guide them. They're there 2 days a week. In a moment, I'm going to have the deputy commissioner come up here, Dylan Mosier, and talk to you about it. Our agenda, our mission is very clear for us, and we think we're accomplishing it. Before I bring up Mr. Mosier, does anybody have any questions for me? I'm sorry, you're in the back. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Marnette Clary, and I'm Clary's Waterproofing in Tuck Point. It's a whole lot of stipulations because I've been out here since May 16th, and I really haven't had help. I called my insurance company, has my check deposited, but called me today and tell me that they made my house, they totally lost my house. I would figure by me doing some work that it would cost more for me to tear my house down and to give them blueprints than to come here, and because I'm not going to change the structure of my house. So me, based on coming down here, is to get some papers to say that my house is rebuildable. My business is rebuildable. I'm out here, I want to rebuild. Wasn't nothing wrong with the first floor of my house, but when the rain came from the roof, it destroyed the house. So this is the initial visit for me coming up here, is to get the permit inspector to say that I can rebuild my house, because it would cost me more to take the bricks down and to get them a blueprint than me to rebuild my house the way it was.
Okay. Everything's dealt on a case-by-case basis. I'd like to get your address and talk to you about the inspector. Now, you want the inspector to green light you rebuilding the house? Is that what I'm hearing?
I don't want the inspector to green light me to rebuild my house, but I would like a permit to go
Rebuild your home.
proceed. Yes, that's what I'm looking for, a permit, so I can rebuild my house, because all it is framing.
And what is stopping you from getting the permit, so I understand?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking you, because they totaled my house out and my house is not totally gone.
I think we're talking about multiple different things here. I think you're talking about the insurance company maybe have done a complete damage on your home, and I think we're confused about whether you want to take the insurance proceeds, hire a contractor, and rebuild your home through the permit process. I'd like to talk to you separately from here and get a clear understanding so I can make a clear decision on how to move forward. All right. Anybody else for me? And I guess with that, I will bring up and introduce Mr. Dylan Mosier. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Good morning, Commissioner Ware, and good morning to all of you, and thank you all for being here. So I have gotten a lot of calls from constituents who are saying, I'm trying to apply for assistance. However, the sticker on my house is yellow, or it's, it was a yellow, red, or green.
Yeah, red,
And
yellow, green.
they are unable to stay in their house, and they have received assistance from like the Urban League, and they're currently staying in a hotel. How can those situations be, I guess, reevaluated so that people can apply for needed assistance, even though they have a yellow sticker?
Well, any reevaluation of the sticker can be done through 311 through CSB, and we'll go out and do a reevaluation. Our reevaluations don't really tie into assistance from outside agencies, so that there's no connection between the building division and the outside agencies offering any type of assistance related to the sticker. But in the case where you have a red sticker and possibly Ameren has your power off, make the request. We go out there. The procedure is to send the building inspector out there. After they establish the building is watertight and structurally sound, the electrical inspector comes out, they do their assessment, and then it's sent through the system to Ameren to turn on power. We just recently did this one on Waterman, but Ameren went out and couldn't turn on the power because the contractor who redid the roof, left his scaffold right where the meter base was supposed to go. So we had to tell the owner, I'm sorry, but your contractor has to come back, remove the scaffold, then we'll come back and do it. So it's an assessment process. If you want this done, 311 CSP, put it in, we'll react to it, and we'll reassess the sticker. Any more? Or are we ready for the Deputy Commissioner? With that being said, this is Mr. Dylan Mosier.
Good morning. Thanks for being here. And yeah, just want to say thanks for having us. Thank you, Ms. Mavis Thompson, for the opportunity to talk about a couple new programs that we have. I particularly like being able to talk to them in the context of of it being, you know, a resource for businesses as well, because I'm going to speak on two new programs that were developed in the last 2 months in response to the May 16th, as well as an existing resource that we've had in the building division. The two new resources that I'm about to get into, they've been mostly sort of posed as resources for homeowners only, and that is not the case whatsoever. So happy to speak to you folks directly about this and know that this is an opportunity for you all as business owners and operators. So the first, and I'm going to lead with our architect program because it relates to the woman in the back who had the issue. We have developed a partnership with the St. Louis chapter of the American Institute of Architects. We are doing informational drop-in clinics for folks to just sit down at a table, just like any of these tables right in front of me, sit down across from a licensed architect design professional. Photos on your phone, you can bring printed out photos, you can bring a narrative script of all of the damage that your property has taken as a result of the tornado, and you can begin to have a conversation about sort of what does rebuilding look like. But you can talk about anything, really. I mean, if you've just never interacted with an architect or hired an architect and that that's something that you need, this is an opportunity for you to speak with these folks about that sort of thing. So I wanted to lead with that one because it reminded me of the situation. It sounds like this individual may be looking at possibly needing to get a permit, possibly needing to have someone design the plans for reconstruction. That's costly and arduous, just no matter what. So we really wanted to just pull down as many of the barriers to sort of giving people direct information on that type of stuff. So these architects, they're in our offices in room 425 right now, at least 2 days a week. That's Monday as well as Wednesday from noon to 3. We've gotten a really good response from it. But any questions anyone has, any resources you have, bring them in, have a conversation. Certainly there's a lot to the recovery process, and there's a lot that entails. One thing that we can do quick, easy, for free is just put two people at a table to have a conversation so that these licensed architect design professionals can provide their expertise, and again, free of charge. The second one, and he's leaving the room right now, I flagged him, Crown. They registered. We developed a contractor registration. We did that for a couple reasons. I mean, chiefly among them, we wanted safety in the tornado impact zone to make sure that people aren't paying cash for repair and then possibly nobody follows up to actually do the repair. So we've developed a contractor registration where we're asking contractors who are interested in working in the tornado impact zone to sign up 100% for free. There's no charges associated with signing up. They'll provide insurance documentation, business license documentation, as well as the necessary trade certification. So if you're trying to hire a plumber, that they're actually a plumber, they're actually a certified plumber that is actually allowed to work in the city. And so we're vetting these necessary folks. There's a number of different departments that are helping us do that, and we appreciate them, including the license collector. But the registry can serve as an opportunity for folks who are looking for a contractor to quickly find folks who not only are able to do this work, but they've also stood up and said, I want to do this work. I want to do this work in this specific circumstance. of the tornado impact zone, and I'm willing to. So it's an easy way for you to be able to get your kind of 3 bids in there. Reach out to folks. It's easy to navigate. There's a variety of different disciplines that these contractors have, and so you can search by, am I looking for a demo contractor? Am I looking for a mechanical contractor, plumber, GC, whatever it is. Because Julian Nix mentioned that there is an emergency stabilization program, I'll go ahead and say that, that is a Tarpon Board program, and we are hoping to pull exclusively the contractors to do that city-initiated work from the contractor registration. So if we do have anybody from the contractor community that's out here, that is another motivation to register. Not only are we trying to lead people to the registry so that they'll see your business's contact information, reach out to you, but there's also city initiative programming that could also be job opportunities as well. The last thing is not a new program that we stood up as a result of the tornado, but I did want to highlight one thing, which is that those of you that have been displaced from your primary place of business, your storefront, your office, I did want to let everybody know that there are a variety of ways to, conduct your business, and one of them is actually through your home. If your home is indeed inside the city, we have a home occupation waiver process. It's quick, it's inexpensive, but if you are no longer able to operate out of your traditional storefront and you think you could continue to operate your business through your home, there is a way to be lawfully, approved to do that out of your home. You can make that application online at stlcitypermits.com, or you can call 314-622-3666. Sorry, a lot of numbers in my head. To make that application, our friends at the Business Assistance Center, also located on the 4th floor here in City Hall, they, are old pros at, processing those applications. They'll be happy to help you. So again, 3 big programs: Ask an Architect, Mondays and Wednesdays, noon to 3. Come down, drop in, ask any questions that you have. Contractor registration, whether you're a contractor, please register, or whether you're not a contractor but you're looking for a contractor, the registry is available at STL Recovery, the page on the city's website. I always just go on the city's main website and then search contractor registration. That's the first result that I've gotten to get to it. That'll link straight to that, and that'll help people find a relevant contractor for their recovery needs. And then the home occupation waiver process for folks who need to pivot from their traditional location possibly into their home. And with that, does anyone have any questions for me? All right, well, thank you so much. I really appreciate the time.
Thank you. We're going to have one more speaker before we just take a stretch break and a restroom break as well. All right, and so our next speaker is actually going to be Steve Davis, and Steve Davis is the vice president of the SLDC, St. Louis Development Corporation. Didn't mean to elevate you quite yet. All right.
Yeah, I wasn't ready for that on-the-spot promotion, but thank you, Mavis Thompson. Again, I'm Steve Davis with St. Louis Development Corporation, so we're the city's independent development agency tasked with driving inclusive economic growth for the city of St. Louis. And I do want to echo a lot of the sentiments from the prior speakers. This is an unprecedented challenge ahead of us, and we know it's going to be a long road. And sometimes it feels like we still have more questions than answers, and we're continuing to work through those questions and find solutions. And at this moment in time, I want to thank Mavis for bringing us all together, because it is going to take unprecedented collaboration and coordination between all the departments that are speaking today. And I do believe that we can come out on the other side of this with stronger communities, stronger neighborhoods, and more innovative solutions to challenges that our city has faced, even before this terrible event. So in the days after the May 16th tornado, SLDC immediately deployed our staff into the neighborhoods to meet directly with businesses. We wanted to reach as many people as we could. So we sent out staff to canvass and get in touch with businesses, and we created a business assessment form so that we could understand the damage that businesses sustained and the other types of challenges that they may be facing, whether it's lost inventory, lost access to workers and things like that, so that we could start to think through what tools in our toolbox that we could pull together to help address those needs. Because I don't think any of our departments were designed or prepared to respond to an event of this nature. So again, we're trying to innovate and build these tools as we get the information. So we did receive over 700 business assessment surveys, and we've been sharing that information with the mayor's office and our state and federal partners, so that we can again determine how much aid is needed for the business community. And I think our number one priority as it relates to businesses is making sure that we retain the businesses that we have in the city. We don't want to lose businesses. So we will be continuing to meet with businesses, and if you have not yet filled out the survey, we do have a table up here with Donna and Aretha. We'd love to take your information and get in touch with you and have a one-on-one conversation and understand how we can be a good partner to you and get you the resources that you need. We've also been working very closely with the SBA, who is here today. We're grateful for their partnership. They've been using the survey responses that we received to conduct their own outreach and make sure that they're getting to as many businesses as they can. So again, if you haven't shared or contacted SLDC, please get in touch with us so we can have that conversation. There was a question earlier about access to capital. Businesses can apply through our St. Louis Local Development Company for below market rate loans or low interest loans. The Local Development Corporation is staffed by SLDC in partnership with the St. Louis Economic Development Partnership. And info on those loans can be found on the tornado recovery website, which again, you can get at our table up here. As it relates to some of our other departments, LRA has suspended new offers to purchase LRA properties, so their staff can conduct damage assessments. That being said, all offers that have been received through June will be considered at the July 30th LRA board meeting. And then I know this was already plugged a few times, but if you are a contractor, you can become registered through the city to participate in tornado recovery, and you can register through the STL Recovers contractor registration portal. And then there was another question. So as it relates to access to capital, we are looking at unrestricted funds that we can deploy to businesses. So that would mean there'd be low interest to no interest loans that we can get out. So we're working with our state partners on that. So more information to come, but that is something we're thinking through because we know that these businesses need something to float them during this difficult time. So more to come on that. With that, I'll take any questions.
Thank you. I'm a recipient of SLDC. I've been in business for 26 years, so SLDC, hands up. I know we got the North Quarter grant that's going to be deadline on the 26th funding, and I was wondering, when is there a timeline that we're going to start this? I am a recipient for the award of the North Quarter grant program, and I haven't heard anything about is it going to start.
So they're still working through all the applications. All the funding in that program has been allocated, so they're working through the applications. And if you want to touch base with me after this, I'll be happy to take your information and have someone reach out to you to give you an update. So that I think you're referring to the North Side Corridor Grant, which was conducted over the last couple of years. So we've already received applications for that program and have closed the applications for that. And so again, we're working through, that was an ARPA funded program to provide capital to businesses on the North Side. So All that funding has been appropriated, and we're working through the application we have. Right. Any other questions?
Yes, on this side. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm not sure if my question is related to the same grant program, but the North St. Louis Small Business Grant Program.
Yep.
Is that the same
That's
one?
the same program, yeah.
Oh, okay. And so I couldn't hear exactly what you were saying about it. Were you saying that the funds have already been allocated?
It's
and
all
there's-
been appropriated. The application cycle has been closed, so we're evaluating the current applications that we have and going through those approvals. So as of this time, it's closed, and we'll be reaching out to the applicants. So if you have an application in, I'd be glad to take your information and connect
do.
with you. Yep.
I do. I have an application in. Yeah, I have a situation that I'd like to talk to you
Sure.
offline about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. Thank you.
Please stand.
Please stand.
Oh, sorry.
Hello, my name is Rhonda, and I'm the owner of St. Louis Metal and Recycling. And I also submitted an application for that grant and would like an opportunity to speak with you about it later.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Thank
I'll find you after this. Yep.
Hello, thank you for doing this event. I'm here for questioning about economic injury. So I'm a very young business, and in the scaling that I was doing, the tornado affected me. However, it seems that a lot of the businesses here are invested with time, and so resources as far as how we can benefit as younger businesses with that economic injury to reinvest, to keep sustainability, to be how you all are for years here in the community. Some resources probably would be helpful for the younger businesses, so I'd like to personally talk on behalf of that.
Yeah, I'd love to connect with you after this, and we can talk about if you are a young business, there could be other resources that are kind of outside the recovery process that are made available to you. We're very interested in helping young businesses scale here in the city. So we have a Scale Up STL program. I'd be happy to share more information with you on that. So let's connect after this. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much, Steve. Prior to our break, I'm going to call up Christina Garmendia, as well as Alderwoman Shameen Clark Hubbard. And Christina is from Megan Green, the president of the Board of Aldermen, and from her office.
Well, thank you all so much for letting me interrupt the break. I'm Christina Garmendia, Policy Director to President Green, and what I hope for the next version of this event is that our roles are switched and you're the ones up here talking and we're all sitting there listening. My role in the president's office is being called like head researcher. So this is, we collect a lot of information to inform what kind of legislation that the president sponsors. And so events like this are really important because we're hearing from you. And I think one of the important roles of the Board of Aldermen is to fill in the gaps. So all of you that are sticking out here and asking questions, at the end of this event, we really do want to hear from you about what is missing. What did you not hear? There's a lot of resources here, and I'm so glad that you guys are asking questions about your specific situations. But the Board of Aldermen is designed to take action, to make things change if it's not working for you. So that is our role, and we have several alders here today, including Alderwoman Clark Hubbard, Alderwoman Keys back there, and they are your lifeline. If you are not getting what you need or all the specific details of your circumstances, I know each of them want to hear from you, and it's through our alders that the president hears what is happening, the patterns across the whole city. And so that's really important to us. And one thing I wanted to do with my few minutes up here is to ask some questions of you. if you're in this room, I'm assuming you're all business owners, but how many of you are also residents? If you could raise your hand. Thank you. So about half. How many of you have employees? Awesome. And related to the, thank you, and related to the question from the young woman in the back, how many businesses are less than a year old? 5 years old? 10 years old or less? Okay, and 10 years old and more. Awesome, thank you. So a wide range of businesses, and we need all of you. And with the tornado, especially if it causes, oh, the other questions I wanted to ask, how many of you had physical damage to your business? Raise your hand. All right, how many of you had damage to your materials, your supplies, your inventory? Okay. And one thing I wanted to elevate is the incredible role that business owners have played. I've heard stories about business owners that are still paying their employees even if their business isn't open. I've heard about businesses providing cash aid to their clients or customers. So you guys have been going above and beyond, and I fiercely believe that a few things that I bring into the work that I do for the president around what we should be doing in the future. Cash is king. That the city needs to earn your loyalty to stay in the city. We do not automatically deserve it. And you guys are making incredible commitments, especially for those of you that have employees, an incredible responsibility for our fellow residents. I've been an entrepreneur myself, and the leap from going from a sole proprietor to having employees is an incredible leap in responsibility. You are responsible for not just yourself, but for your employees and their families. It's an incredible responsibility, and I want to thank you for your commitment to the city. So anything that you do not get answers here today, I really hope you reach out to not just your alderperson, but to our office. We're in room 232. You're welcome to come in and speak to us, as well as email us at boa-president@stlouis-mo.gov. And with that, I'll pass it over to Alderwoman Clark Hubbard.
All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Shamim Clark Hubbard. I serve as Alder Lady in the 10th Ward. There's 8 neighborhoods. I go from Clayton Road and Skinker down to Taylor and Martin Luther King. And I look around this room and I see many of my businesses. And I see people from other wards that I know their businesses as well, and being on the ground, and I see the damage, the heartbreak that I feel for your businesses. So being here present today was important for me. I apologize for being a little late. I also serve on the SLDC board, and we had our monthly meeting today. One of the things I heard in that meeting was that the 10th Ward had the most amount of businesses that were impacted by the path of the storm as well. So again, my advocacy and my presence and my accessibility is important. And I asked to come up here with Christine because I wanted to make sure we can work together in tandem, and as well as my colleague, Alderwoman Keys, to work collectively to get these resources out to you all, right? And so that means it might not get answered today, and we understand that, but you have some amazing tools here in this room. The Business Assistance Center, the work they do on the ground, the calls they answer, that's an immeasurable tool. And then the other tools that are here, and we thank our Honorable License Collector for even putting this together, but we know in spaces like this, there's some things that you forget to add, or you might think about it later. And so the accessibility is important. So I'm the 10th Ward alderperson, but even if I'm not your alder and I can connect you with something, please don't hesitate to call. I can give out my cell phone number. It's 314-393-1393. That's 314-393-1393. I give you a trick. It's easy to remember because it's the same backwards and forwards. But with that being said, because I asked again to come up here so I can make sure that you all know I'm here. we're here, we're ready to fight and advocate for you all, being an entrepreneur as well. I just know the struggles, the day-to-day of making ends come together sometimes before they even meet, right? And so when you have setbacks like this, they can make you lose hope, but I want to make sure you know that you have cheerleaders here for you. I will have to run out earlier, which is why, for another meeting, which is why, again, I asked to come up here, but if there's any specific questions I can answer, I will. This is case by case, which has been mentioned before. We know that wholeness is going to look different for everyone. And so it's our responsibility to make sure that we meet you where you are to try to help carry you forward. So if you have any questions for us. All right. Yes, ma'am. 314-393-1393. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. We're going to now just take a really short break because we have great presenters still to come, and they have information, and I've heard some of the questions that you had. They can answer some of those questions, all right? And so let's just take a brief 5-minute break and get you some refreshments, speakers as well, get you some refreshments and do what you have to do, but come back, and let's come back in 5 minutes. Thank you. And I know that everybody wants to rush up to the tables. Would you please save that until the presenters make their presentation? All right, thank you. But I know for sure that they have a micro business. Matter of fact, who's here? I don't know if anybody's here right this second, but when we come back from the break, I'll point Darius out to you, okay? All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Yes. We're going to ask everybody to take their seats so that we can get started. Please take your seats so that we can get started. Please take your seats so we can get started. Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Good with water?
Please take your seats so we can get started, please. Thank you. Okay, thank you so much. We'll continue on with our programming, and we hope that we can get all of your questions answered today. And remember now, we're still open until 4, and so the tables will be here rotating the different staff, all right? And so now we'll have, where were we? Okay, Brad. No. Renata Mason? Okay, all right, okay, great. All right, we'll start off now with Renata Mason. She's the Public Information Officer for the Office of Disaster Recovery and Resilience. Let's give her a round of applause.
Good morning, everyone. Again, I'm Renata Mason, Public Information Officer with the Small Business Administration, the Office of Disaster Recovery and Resilience. I had an amazing presentation to show you all because I'm such a visual person, but there's a little bit of can't connect it today. So anyhow, so the Small Business Administration, we are the largest source of funds post-disaster for privately damaged properties. Yes, we do provide low interest rate loans, and that's to help assist in the recovery process. So for the Small Business Administration, our assistance goes beyond businesses and nonprofits, but since today we're at the Business Forum, I'm going to focus on that information for you. Studies have shown that about 40% of businesses do not reopen after a disaster, right? And for those that do, about 25% fail within the first year after that disaster. So the Small Business Administration uses the sources that we have to help in that recovery process. And what does that look like for you? Is, again, small interest rate loans. And so today, I know we're speaking on the May 16th declaration, but I'm also going to speak if there's anyone that's been impacted by the 314 declaration, because we are still accepting applications for that as well. So to go into the counties that are eligible for these declarations, primary counties is St. Louis, the city of St. Louis County, and Scott County for the May 16th declaration. That application deadline is August the 11th for any primary counties seeking physical damage assistance, and for any counties that have received economic injury, that deadline is March the 9th next year. Again, that's for our May 16th declaration. For our 314-day declaration, the deadline is quickly approaching. If you've received any physical damages, that deadline is actually next Tuesday, July 22nd. If you have any economic injury for that disaster, that deadline is February 23rd. Now, to go into the amounts that are available and the interest rates, because again, these are loans, these have to be paid back, but we have low interest rate loans to assist you in that recovery process. And so for the businesses and nonprofits that are seeking assistance for physical damages or economic injury, we can loan you up to $2 million. That $2 million can go towards the repairs, rebuilding of your real estate, the structure, replacement of machinery and equipment. If you've had any loss in revenue, you can use those funds for operating expenses and things of that nature. So for the interest rate for our businesses, it starts at 4%. For our nonprofits, that interest rate is 3.625%. For all of our loans across the board, we offer a 12-month deferral with no interest accrual. So if you receive our funding, you get approved for the loan, you have 1 year from the date that your first funding is dispersed before you have to make a payment. And again, during that time, there's no interest accrual. Our loans are set up where we can stretch your loan terms out to 30 years, and there's no prepayment penalties. You can pay that loan off early. And it allows you, again, to start your recovery process without having the stress of having to immediately pay it back. Now, we have the funding as well, what we consider to be unsecured loans, which you can also be eligible for. Our unsecured loan amount is up to $50,000. That means you can take our funding, get that assistance, and it's not a requirement of collateral if you get up to the $50,000. If it's anything over $50,000, you may be required to provide collateral for those loans. Again, the funding can be used for your real estate, the repairs, the replacement of machinery and equipment. And if we have any businesses in here that have insurance, it doesn't stop you from applying, right? So we do provide assistance for those that are uninsured or underinsured. When I speak about my program, the SBA's program, I let people know that to consider this as a stacking of your resources. So if you have insurance and you still need additional assistance, please apply for the SBA loan. It can help you with any other additional assistance that you need that your insurance may not cover. If you have insurance and you're still waiting for the insurance funding, you don't have to wait. You can apply for SBA funding while you're waiting for your insurance. Does anyone have any questions before I go a little more? Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, and thank you all for being here. I have a business in the city of St. Louis, and it was affected. It's my home also. And so I'm in the process of filling out the SBA loan. It seems like they want the information with a very quick turnaround. Sometimes it's a little difficult to get the information. So if you don't have the information and they throw you back out of the system, when can you reapply?
Okay, so thank you for that question. Great question. What it's called is when if there's your application and there's additional information needed, it's what's called withdrawn, right? So it goes into a withdrawal status if your application needs additional documentation. So what you would do in this case, it's not a applying of a new loan because you're already in the system. It would be what we consider to be a reacceptance, right? And so what you're doing is based on the letter that you've received, and it's going to provide on that letter what additional information that you need, you will have 6 months from the date of that letter to provide the additional documentation that's being asked of you. Mm-hmm.
Good morning. I have a business that was affected as well, actually two, and one on Natural Bridge, and it was tore up pretty bad that it was considered with the red sticker on there, and I'm fighting back and forth with the insurance company. I'm actually meeting, they're sending out a engineer today because they don't believe the pricing that it costs to get fixed. So she actually asked my first question. My second question is, like, I have a previous loan already that my building is used as collateral on. So how would that work? Because it kind of put me in a horror spot because I'm actually closed, and I have that loan. So it's like filling out for this loan, and then you have to use collateral on that. Like, I don't know. I'm kind of like stuck in a hard place. I don't know what to do with that situation.
Yes, ma'am. Great question as well. And so with regards to that, even though you have an existing if you have an existing loan and collateral on that, you can still apply for the SBA. The SBA will be added as will be added as another to your existing, but you can still apply for the SBA loan.
Hello, I have a question. So, I do have a couple of businesses, but one of the businesses is less than a year old. And I know with the SBA, it said something about like you have to provide your previous year's tax records, but don't have that. How do I go about applying for the SBA loan like that?
Yes, great question again. So as long as your business was in existence at the time of the disaster, you can apply. If you don't, because obviously, it's not been a year yet, you haven't filed taxes. Because the reason we ask for taxes is to look at your ability to repay that loan. So we will use the tax returns that you have. Still come in, apply. If you have not applied yet, have you applied already?
Applied when it started asking for that type of documentation, discouraged.
Don't get discouraged. Thank you for bringing that up, because I'm sure there's many who feel the same way. So yes, even if you're less than a year old, if your business was operations at the time, still come in and apply. We will utilize the tax information that you had to determine your ability to repay. And then also, it's a case by case, right? Because we're going to look at what your projections for that business was, because the funding that we provide is not on a want basis. So when you're doing our application, it's not a section that you're going to say, hey, this is how much I want. What's going to be determined is how much you need based on what your business was doing. If it's for economic injury only, we're going to look at what your business was bringing in prior to the disaster, and we're going to look at how that impacted it to determine what funding we would give for you. For physical, they're going to look at if your business was physically damaged, what information we have that is going to be required to rebuild your business. So still apply, yes. Any other questions for me? So I have a part two. Okay, I wanted to just focus primarily first on the loan portion of it, right? But in addition to the funding that you can get to rebuild your business, rebuild that property, we also have mitigation funding. So that mitigation funding, we can approve up to an additional 20% on top of your loan to help you, and when you start to build back stronger. So even though we are here for tornadoes, when you're thinking of rebuilding and mitigation funding, it can be for any type of peril, right? We're here for the tornado, but when you're rebuilding, you can consider other things such as how to protect your building or business from flooding, how to protect it from fire. I know we were here 2 years ago and it flooded in the St. Louis area. So when you're rebuilding, consider the things that you can do to build back in a better position. So again, that's up to 20% on top of the additional funding that you may qualify from the SBA. And all that again is that 12-month deferral, no interest accrual. Any other questions for me? Does that mean I did really great? Yeah. Okay. Well, before I get off the mic, I do want to recognize my regional administrator, Mr. Brad Zahn, because they also saw how important it was to be here from our district office, because they are a part of this region. And so I wanted to acknowledge that he did drive down so that he could be present, because he wanted to be here. So. Oh, okay. All right. Any questions? Yes.
Please stay. I just wanted to know where could I find you after the meeting so I could collaborate on some of the things and problems I've had going through the SBA.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. So we will be at this table, and I know this forum was business disaster recovery focused, but as I mentioned, our district office has there's a whole other side of SBA, right, that also helps with non-disaster related issues. So we'll be here at this table. You can find me, and my presentation had my contact information, but if you want to write it down, I'll tell you that right now. My cell phone is 571-455-3867. And my email, I'm going to spell y'all my first name right. It's raenada.mason@sba.gov.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so next we'll have, where are you, Lynette? Lynette Watson. She's the Regional Director for the Missouri Small Business Development Center for the St. Louis region. Welcome her as she comes.
Good morning. I don't know how to stand still, so I'm gonna do my best. Well, you know, I know this has been a really, really trying time for everybody. I personally was affected. I got off the plane on that Monday after the disaster happened, and the first thing I did was went to my childhood home. And what I saw, I'll never forget. It's hard to see someplace that held all of your memories totally. So I know what you guys are going through personally. Again, my name is Lynette Watson. I'm the Regional Director of the Small Business Development Centers, and we are a resource partner for the Small Business Administration. A lot of times people get us confused and think we are the Small Business Administration. They fund us, but I actually work for the University of Missouri System. They actually hold the grant, and we are, again, resource partners. We work directly with the SBA to provide business and technical assistance for our businesses. So that is what we do. My office is located in the T-Rex at 911 Washington, and I have 7 counselors that work with me. I cover Jefferson County, Warren County, Lincoln County, St. Charles County, St. Louis County, City of St. Louis, and just picked up another county, but I don't remember what it is. I have 7 counselors, and I partner probably with most people in the city, but you probably still don't know who we are. So today, I'm about to tell you who we are. And I'm gonna start my little presentation. So, first thing I'm gonna talk about is how we aid businesses in disaster recovery, because that's what we are here to talk about today. What I'm really starting to try to focus on now, because one thing we know, and the last 5 years has taught me, we're gonna have a disaster. We don't know when, we don't know what it's gonna be. I mean, we've had everything thrown at us, guys. We've had a plague, we've had floods, we've had tornadoes. So we know it's gonna happen. So let's figure out at the front end how we can be prepared. So right now we're reacting, but my goal is to start to work with businesses to help them pre-disaster. And what that means is risk mitigation education, helping you come up with resiliency plans. If I lose all of my documentation in a flood, do I have it somewhere else? That's an example. Continuity planning. What happens if one of my employees is unable to do what they do? What happens if I can't operate from my business anymore? What is the continuity plan? What's the backup plan? How do I keep going? Because your employees depend on it and your livelihood depends on it. Financial forecasting. You know, so many of you in this room, and I'm not talking bad about you because I promise you a majority of you don't have any idea what type of financial situation you're in. And that's so important, especially you're gonna go and ask for money. You need to know how much you need, and you need to know what you're gonna spend it on. And so if you know where your business is going, you already have an idea. You keep good financial records. You know how to use them to manage your business. It's amazing what you can do for your business. And then just emergency preparedness training. We help you do that as well. During disaster, post-disaster, after it happens, this is what we do. We are partners with the SBA. Renata and I did a training yesterday. I stop by the business resource centers every now and again, and I get a list sent to me every week for people that need additional assistance. And so my goal is to help you navigate the application if you don't understand something, to entertain questions, to help you understand if you're eligible or not. Just kind of like a second arm for the SBA. And I've actually worked about 20 disasters in my storied career. I've been with the SBA for 20 years this year. I know I'm only 27, so I don't know how that happened. We also help you with business model revision. During COVID, we had a lot of pivoting going on. People did this and they had to pivot really quickly. And some of you will have to pivot too. Some of you are going to have to operate somewhere else in the short term. We help you figure out what that business model revision looks like. And then we also help you with some staffing solutions. And we know how staffing has been in today's economy. We do workshops and webinars all the time. Like I said, Renata and I did one yesterday, and it was called Standing Strong. And we know you're not only dealing with all that has happened, you're also dealing with your mental health. And I know a lot of us in this room don't want to admit that, but this has been a PTSD kind of thing for me. And so I want you to understand, you also need to take some time out and do some breathing and take some time to center yourself, because this is real. And so we do those things, and I'm actually right now working on a webinar that does help us get in tune to how we're feeling right now. So we do all kind of things like that. The comprehensive recovery service that we do local resource connections. What we have done recently is we've done a train the trainer. So the train the trainers for all those community partners that are out there helping. Some of them don't know all the resources. They don't know how to navigate the SBA. They don't know who the contact people are. So what we do is, again, we offer train the trainer so we can bring all the resources to the table. Again, we help you with cash flow strategies. I know times are tough, and I know cash is even tighter, especially if your doors have been closed for a while. When you get the money in, a lot of times you think it's a lot, but if we don't use it right, it goes really fast, doesn't it? I've seen that myself in my own business many times. We do business recovery counseling. It's like, so what's next? What do I do next? How do I rebuild from here? And this is a good time, guys. I mean, I always say, out of disaster, something good always comes. This is a good time for you all to start working on your business and stop just working in the business. You know, it's a good time to do that. We help you with applications. I said that before. And sometimes we will partner with our legal resources. One of them is here. And we help you navigate insurance claims and things of that nature. And I've heard some horror stories. I started working in that area during COVID. And boy, did I learn some things about insurance companies. So I won't profess to be an attorney, but I will profess to be somebody that can read. And the things that I learned, I promise you I'll share it with you. So, having said all that, so these are some things that we do from a strategic approach to help you navigate these things. We help you, again, with understanding, what your options are. And I even learned some more options today. It's a lot going on. I know you guys are on information overload, aren't you? Yes. So we kind of help you keep that all together. And then some people are going to approach you. I'm sure we've all been approached by a lot of people. Everybody say they can help you for a price. We help you navigate that as well to make sure that you are actually getting the bang for your buck. My services are your tax dollars at work, everybody. So having said that, I am not free. Let me say that. If Brad doesn't make sure I get paid, I'm not coming to work. But I say all that to say, most people think free is subpar, right? We're not free. We all have MBAs. We all have owned our own businesses. And we all love, eat, and breathe small businesses. So because Brad and the SBA are so nice, and they take care of me, I'm here to take care of you all. And please, please, please stop by my table, pick up a card, and I'm here to help you. And if it's not me, it'll be one of my team members. But we are here, and I don't want you to just use me during disaster. You got business, we help you with access to capital. We help you get ready. So when you go to the bank, you know what you're talking about. So often we walk in the bank, I need $100 million. I ain't got no collateral, all of that. But I help you get prepared for that discussion. And when you go in knowledgeable, the bank's gonna listen to you just a little more. So guys, I know these are challenging times. But again, we're gonna use these challenging times. We get to rebuild North City. It's us who's gonna rebuild North City. Born and bred in North City. It's up to us. And I'm here to help you guys. I thank you all very much for listening to me. Everybody have a great morning. Any questions?
I just have one question.
Yes.
My name is Deborah.
Hi, Deborah.
Do you help write an effective business plan?
Okay. I love this question. Thank you for saying that. I don't write anybody's business plan, but I help you write the best business plan you ever had in your life. We use this great template, great tool. I give you feedback. I help you do the market research. I tell you which direction to go in. But I always want everybody to write their own plan because it comes from your heart, not mine. But I am here to help you every step of that process. Anybody else? All right. Oh, over there.
Hello, my name is Jabri. I'm one of the younger businesses here. And my biggest question that I have as we're in a time where everything's changing with disaster, how does this organization help with where the world is going with AI and setting up automation in a business so that its efficiency does still sustain the changes that we're going through as well?
Absolutely. As we speak, my team is working on their AI certification. So I will have 3 team members certified, I think, at the end of August. We do understand that's really important. And so probably mid-August, end of August, we will start to offer some training on, how to automate your business with AI. But personally, I already have the AI certification, so I can kind of help you understand and navigate AI, but everybody is going to need something different. So reach out. We'll help you. Any other? Thank you all very much.
All right, we're going to go in order here. Next, we'll have Lisa Morgan, and Lisa is the
Senior Vice President of Community and Economic Development for Midwest Bank Center.
exactly what I wanted to say. And so now we'll have Lisa in her own way. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to thank Mavis Thompson for inviting us here. We're the only bank here, so we're very honored to be here. If you don't know Midwest Bank Center, I wanted to just say a few things. Our CEO is Orvin Kimbrough, who grew up in the foster care system and became the Chief Executive Officer of a bank. Midwest Bank Center has been in existence since 1906. We are the second largest privately held bank in the St. Louis region. We do have access to capital for those who have experienced hardship from the disaster. We have emergency loans for individuals up to $10,000. It is a loan, so we do pull credit. The score needs to be at least a 580 in order to get access to the loan. And then you would not get up to the 10,000, but you would get up to 5,000. We also have emergency assistance for businesses that goes from 5,000 to 25,000. We do need you to be in business for at least 3 years. So we do have some access to capital. Midwest Bank Center is in 14 different locations in the St. Louis area. We do have a table, which is Oh, I'm sorry, it is right here. And we will have bank leaders here to answer any questions for you that you may have. But I can answer some questions now if anyone has any questions for me.
Good afternoon. My name is Sandra Harris. What is the percentage rate for these loans?
Okay, there's an introductory rate of 7% for the first 3 months. There's a small payment deferral. You won't have to make a payment for 45 days. And then after the 3 months is over, then the interest rate will float with the prime rate. The prime rate right now is 7.5%. Any other questions? All right, thank you so much.
Thank you. And next we have my alderwoman, Laura Keys from the elevated 11th Ward. Welcome her as she comes.
Thank you, Mavis. That was music to my ears. So in the elevated 11th Ward, we've got a lot of great businesses. We have a lot of businesses that, oh, I'm sorry, you want my demographic? So our ward, just like every other ward here in the city of St. Louis, stretches a good distance. So we begin at a small street called Condi, which is closer to Highway 70. We stretch all the way across to Shodo. Then on the east and west side, we stretch from the west side of Jefferson all the way down to the east side of Marcus. And so that being said, my ward, like many of the wards throughout our city, serves about 23,000+ people. And so with our ward expanding or stretching from north to way south, we've got a wonderful array of businesses that have already been here and many brand new ones. During the time of the storm, one of our businesses that is a brand new business to our ward, Everybody Eats Here. They were negatively impacted by the storm. But despite that, they took the food to keep it from going bad. They cooked it and they fed the people. And, you know, that happened so many times with so many businesses. Prince Carter Barbecue did the same thing, even though he's not in the elevated 11th Ward. Still, you know, I just want to acknowledge, you know, his contribution. And many of you sitting in this room, I'm sure, have done the same thing. It's just that I don't know your name or the name of your business. So I want to take the opportunity to say thank you, thank you, thank you. Your services were greatly needed, and your heart was shown through the service that you gave to people in dire need during a very horrific time. We never thought we'd live through something like this. It truly is shocking. One of the things that I'm experiencing when I speak to business owners and residents is that people are kind of scared and reticent to take on a loan. I want you to get rid of fear. You can't operate in business and constantly be afraid. Be not afraid to take a loan for the survival of your business. The SBA is able to help you. And thanks so much to our license collector, Mavis Thompson, you know, for putting this event together so that you get firsthand information about what these loans can do for you. I too am a former business owner. I closed my business back in August of 2018. where I own the largest number of independently owned biometric fingerprinting sites in the state of Missouri, transmitting data to the FBI and the Missouri State Highway Patrol. My business operated very well. In fact, I had another whole job while I ran my business. That usually is, that's an unusual circumstance in case I had 6 offices, but I was fortunate to have great people in place who took care of things while I went to a regular job. That, as I said, was an anomaly. But I did that without having the fear. And even when I got ready to close my business, I wasn't afraid because I know that God had something else for me to do. And so I want you, I don't know if you all are religious or not, or faith-based people, but regardless of that, I do want you to get rid of fear. Do not be afraid of a loan. Do not be afraid of how you're going to pay that loan back. Do the right thing with the loan. If you're taking a loan to support your business, to make sure that your business can survive and thrive, do that. Take advantage of these resources. I can't say it enough. One of the things I say to people all the time when they call me is, girl, we don't turn down none but our collar. And so I don't want you to do anything but turn down your collar. All help that is available to you is here for a reason. Take advantage of it. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. Any questions? Wait a minute. Anybody here from the elevated 11th Ward? Raise your hand. Hello, hello. What's the name of your business? St. Louis Metal and Recycling. So this young lady, go on and stand up. So she is in the elevated 11th Ward, and I'm so glad to see you here. We have not met. We have been talking on the phone for about 2 years now. Talking on the phone for about 2 years. So I am so happy to see your face, but we're going to have greater conversation in person today. And so I'm so happy that you're here. And I want you all to please reach out to your respective alder person. If you've not called your alder person to have any discussion, please do that. As Alder Lady Clark Hubbard said, if you need to reach out and you're not necessarily in her ward or in my ward, that's okay. Here's my phone number, 314-441-0375. I'm going to repeat that one more time, 314-441-0375. Does anyone else have any questions? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Is that the owner of Everybody Eats Here who just walked in the room? Ms. Caldwell? That's not her? Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, this next organization is very near and dear to my heart. As a former practicing attorney, I was one of the attorney delegates for Legal Services of Eastern Missouri. And so we will now bring up, come on up, Marlene Elliott, to tell you about how you need legal assistance during times like these. Welcome her as she comes.
Thank you, Ms. Thompson, so much for putting this event together. So I just wanted to kind of let you all know, what Legal Services is doing in response to this disaster. First off, just for those of you who don't know exactly what we do, Legal Services is a nonprofit law firm that offers free legal services to low income, but people who apply, and that's, people who qualify for our service. And we help in many different areas, whether it's family law, consumer law, housing is a big issue, But also for me, I am the managing attorney of the Micro Enterprise Program. So we help with small businesses and nonprofits, and we help with the legal issues that come across that, whether it means forming the business, drafting contracts, reviewing commercial leases or other commercial lease related issues, trademarks, copyrights, and things like that. But as a whole, when this disaster happened, legal services, you know, we wanted to be there and respond to all kinds of different issues. One of the biggest being housing, okay, with, you know, landlord-tenant issues or maybe building repair issues, insurance issues. So, but I'm gonna give you a quick list of some of the things that we're helping with. One of the things is document replacement. You know, in a disaster, you could lose paperwork or can't find it, or it gets destroyed. So we want to help, you know, get birth certificates or state issued IDs, you know, paperwork like that. Also, from my point of view, in the rebuilding efforts for businesses, they're going to be dealing with construction workers, and some may not be as reputable as you might like. And we want to help with those issues if someone, let's say, gets ripped off or scammed. We want to kind of step in and be that extra muscle. Next, we also help with evictions and rental conditions. In a tornado disaster, you're going to have property damage that may make your living situation uninhabitable. You can't live there, you can't stay there. So you'll want to make sure the landlord gets the repairs that they need. But also, you might have landlords that are evicting people illegally, not going through the right process for whatever reason. So we try to help out with those issues as well. School enrollment, accommodations, and homeless enrollments. School enrollment and transportation issues related to families who have been displaced. So we help with families making sure the kids get to school, and any needs that they have. Damage to school issued technology. So we want to help, you know, get Chromebooks or laptops replaced, for example. Next is SNAP and Medicaid issues. We want to make sure that people are still getting their SNAP benefits and replacement EBT cards or Medicaid cards or any assistance with that. Also, we have a neighborhood advocacy program that helps with home ownership, deed, and title issues. So for those of you who are having issues, maybe getting your house repaired because of a deed issue, you'll want to contact us. Property tax issues, definitely who can pay property tax at a time like this, we worry about that. So we help with those. And finally, domestic violence resources. So in any kind of disaster, there's going to be stress. And my friend Lynette was talking about mental health issues. And one of the things that tends to happen is when people are more stressed out and they have more financial burdens, domestic violence tends to increase, mainly because people don't know how to manage their mental health. So we also can help with those resources. So that's our main list. Does anyone have any questions? Our table is over to the left side, far left over there, so you can get our brochures and contact information as well. Yes, you have a question.
Hi, I want to thank you all for being here. My name is Monica L. Peterson, and I'm the CEO of the Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Center. So I want to be a resource.
Okay.
We deal with specifically emotional and psychological abuse. That's what narcissistic abuse is. So we're available, and I have some information for you all. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, there's another resource. Yes. We have another question.
Morning, everybody. Quick question. You gave a pretty comprehensive list of things that you all offer.
Yeah.
Is there any case where you might be able to get help with multiple or more than one of those issues that you listed?
Of course. So as long as you qualify for the services, you get assistance with different programs. We often do that where, they might need some help with consumer, but they also have business issues and things like that. So yeah, absolutely. Great question, by the way. All right. Anybody else? All right. Thank you so much. Mavis.
All right. And Sean, why don't you come on up? And Sean Ardway is acting city assessor for the city of St. Louis. Welcome him as he comes. Thank you.
Thank you. And like others before me, I want to thank Mavis for putting this together, bringing all sorts of you've seen the different agencies in the city, you've seen agencies outside of the city, and we're all here to do everything we can to help you and assist you, and not just today, but every day. So that's our calling to customer service in public service, and we thrive in that environment. So as far as property tax assessments from the assessor's office, most of you know that on a yearly basis, you turn in your vehicles and for business owners, your business property to the assessor's office. And then years like this year, it's 2025, it's a reassessment year. And so we did send down some notices about reevaluation as what property values were as of January 2025. So Missouri assessment laws are by statute. They're rather inflexible, and so that was a problem when we had the tornado and the natural disaster occur. So there's really only one thing that assessors are allowed to do in that circumstance, and the City Board of Aldermen and the Mayor's Office, they enacted a statute called the Occupancy Law. And it's the only law that Missouri has that allows assessors to adjust values based on natural disaster. In this case, they enacted that law, so the issue is that it only affects residential property, and the criteria is that residential property has to be unoccupied and uninhabitable due to the natural disaster. And so that's what the law allows to be done from the assessment side of things. And so the city was able to do that. There's just one more thing that the city can do to try to do everything we can to make sure we're giving all the opportunity to anybody who's been affected. You know, the problem with today's forum is that it's for business owners, and there actually is no similar program for commercial or industrial property. We don't know why that is, it just is. So what we deal with in the assessor's office is that the assessment statutes determine that all property is to be valued based on what you owned on January the 1st, and then you pay tax on that at the end of the year based on what you owned on January 1st. And so that's what's going to occur for business owners or business property owners, people with vehicles, any of that's what's going to occur for this year in 2025. That's unfortunate. And what's going to happen is as we go forward to 2026, what we really want to do is help you and give you information so that if you have any questions regarding, well, what happens if you rebuild, what happens if you replace equipment, you know, what year do you list that property in, or you know, just making sure that maybe you take any of the damaged equipment off of your property assessments so that it doesn't continue to be taxed going forward. We want to make sure all that happens. So really, we just want to be the best resource for you that we can, and hopefully be able to explain to you any of those things that are going to happen, especially as we go along with the rebuilding process too. What happens if you rehab a building? How does that affect your assessment? What happens if you replace a building from scratch? What happens to your assessment? And so we will be outside along with the other city offices. We appreciate you being here today. We appreciate being invited to be here as well. And we'd be happy to answer any questions that you have and assist you to the best of our abilities. Thank you.
Please stand.
Hello. Our property is at Union and Pershing. It's 2 commercial buildings. So if I'm understanding correctly, regarding real estate taxes,
Yes, ma'am.
if it's a residential property, because of the tornado, then there are accommodations that are being met. If it's a commercial property, we have no roofs. We have brick the buildings are destroyed. We went from a full building to no tenants, 0. So we don't have any tenants. So our taxes are going to be the same?
Yes, ma'am. And I wish I could do more. So that's the way Missouri law is regarding assessments. So whatever it is on January the 1st, that's what you pay on for the whole year. You could have a property that, and obviously this is a tragedy for everybody who's affected. You could have a property that is burned down, rebuilt, washed away by a flood, rebuilt again, it burned down again, and the only thing that's going to matter is what was it on January 1st of each year. And so all of those things that happen during the year, they're real, but as far as assessment law goes, there is no flexibility, there's no discretion available to the assessor to do anything other than value what was there on January the 1st.
So then, for us and businesses like us, what happens on January 1st, 2026?
Yes, and that's what we'd love to talk to you about. So if the building is still damaged, so we will come out and we're going to review all 12 to 15,000 parcels that have been affected by the storm. And whatever the condition of the property is on January 1st, 2026, that's how it'll be valued for 2026. So if a property's been repaired, that might be one circumstance. If the property has not been touched at all and is damaged beyond repair, that's another circumstance. So those adjustments would all be made on January for the 2026 tax year.
That's very disheartening.
I wish it were
That's
different.
very disheartening.
Thank you, everybody. And thank you for coming and for your questions. One of the things that I've seen going on today or heard going on today is about the laws that are currently on the books. Like Sean just said, some of these laws are state laws. And even with the city laws, we in our departments, we're not of the executive branch, neither are we of the legislative branch. But we do have to comply with the laws that are on the book. All right? We don't make the laws. And so we have to comply with those laws. Fair, unfair, whatever, we have to comply. Now, do we stay silent? No. And so that's why we had alder people here today, and that's also why we had representatives from the city, the mayor's office here today, and so that they can hear your concerns, and so that some of these laws may be able to be changed. But I promise you, flat-footed promise you, that I am working currently on trying to get grant relief for this tornado. We've never seen anything like this in our city. My house was affected, but I'm not worried about my house because it was just affected a little bit. You know, when you look at our flyer that we sent out, you know, just bricks down. It was so sad. I'm about to cry right now just thinking about driving home. And just think about what it's doing to the mental health of our children. You know, now having to be, you know, going to another school and all of this. So I promise you, those are the things that we're working on, okay? And I know it may not happen fast enough, you know, but I promise you that we're working on it, all right? And so with all of that being said, with these state laws, with the city laws, you're not satisfied, go to your representative, go to your state rep, go to your state senator, write letters, get involved. And so that's what it's all about. Because here in Missouri, you know, we're all together. We're all together here in St. Louis. It's no us and them and, oh, she was damaged, I wasn't damaged. The laws affect all of us. All right? And so with that being said, now, we're coming to the end of our programming. We'll still have the tables here available for you to ask specific questions. But I want to kind of disagree with something Greg FX Daily said. He talking about that he had the best staff. He had the best staff. He had the best interns. Well, I stand here again, flat-footed. Don't run out, Alnita. She went out to get the staff. Not only Greg thinks he has the best staff, but I know I have the best staff. And so let's give it up for the license collector's office for putting this together. I'm just the face. These people are the workers. And I want to pause now, and we have Alderwoman Pam Boyd. Did you want to have a comment before we do any closing remarks? Come on up, Alder lady. Come on up. And let's give her a hand. She was also one of the Alder people that have been in the affected wards. Go ahead.
All right. Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm sorry I'm late. I just wanted to applaud Mavis because she's doing what she does. And she's bringing the business together, making sure everybody knows what they can and cannot do, and how we can help them. My ward was impacted, but it wasn't devastated as other people. But I think if anybody loses a roof or a shingle or a door, it's devastation. And so I applaud you all for coming out, supporting us to make sure that you get the information. But the license collector has a big job that she has to do to make sure the businesses are taken care of. So she does have a great staff, and I give them kudos. Sam Coleman answers anytime I pick up the phone and call. So I couldn't ask for anything better. And he puts his team out there, and they do the work, and they help us to help our community. So thank you all for being here. You're in the best room in the house. It's so cool in here. So thank you, Mavis. I appreciate you, and God love you all.
And so again, some of the license collector staff, take your bow, take your bow. All righty, thank you. Now, something else that we do, we try in the license collector's office to go beyond our statutory duty. Our statutory duty is to collect license fees, okay? But we do more than that. We have forums like we're having today. We have those all throughout the year, and we're happy that we can provide information. And also, I remember we did a forum on daycare centers. And with those, we were able to get them certified, get all of the credits that they needed just by attending the forum. And so again, thank you. Some of the things that we have coming up, every month we have what's called Business Open House. And so you can come and apply and go right in the rotunda of City Hall and sell your wares and give out information and get some new clientele here. You know, we like to spend money down here. So, You know, whenever we have a forum, it's always packed. And so we do the open house business forum once a month. We also have coming up our food truck festival. We started with an annual food truck festival about 5 years ago, and that'll be coming up. And then another forum that we do for seniors. And so I remember one time someone was saying, well, what do you do for seniors? We don't have businesses and everything, but, we're part of the constituency of St. Louis, Missouri. And we said, well, great idea. And so every year we do a senior forum just for seniors to give them information about what's going on and stuff right here in their hometown, St. Louis. And I also want to thank our sponsors. We had Mid-State Produce, and David Ham help us with the produce. And we also had Gregory FX Daily to contribute with snacks and things there, as well as our own treasurer, Adam Lane. And so we just want to thank you for coming. God bless each and every one of you, and get some information from the tables. Thank you.